What's going on, guys? It's Dio here, and I'm bringing you another week of MX vs ATV Live downloadable content presented to you by vurbmotogamers. If you want to skip ahead to a certain piece of downloadable content, you can use the annotations on the bottom. Otherwise, let's jump right in. The first piece of downloadable content for today is the One Industries Combat Helmet. I'm going to take a look at the colorways real quick. Have the Ziggy CMYK. Really colorful, really crazy looking. Traffic. Radio Star Black. Hudson Red. Hudson Blue. And Fletcher. What I really like about these One Industries helmets, I actually run them quite a bit because they seem to match a lot with almost every gear set. Like even the gear I'm running now, this red can match with it, and if you remember the kind of cyan blue fox gear from last week, this one would match with it, and it just seems like any gear you have, one of these helmets will match with. The second piece of downloadable content today is the One Industries Trooper 2 Rockstar helmet. When I first downloaded this, I was a little confused because it doesn't show up as its own helmet. It shows up in the One Industries Trooper 2 helmet, and then it's just a different colorway. So find One Industries Trooper 2, go on in, and it's right there with your Rockstar Black. Of course, it looks really good. It actually matches the gear I'm running now. It matches a few different colorways. This is the fox gear from last week, that's why I'm showing it. But I was actually using it with the No Fear Electron, and it looked really good as well. So it's really nice to have a helmet that can match the gear, not just look totally out of place. The first vehicle in downloadable content this week is the Honda TRX 450R ATV. Going to take a look at all the graphics here. We have Walsh, One Industries, Lone Star, the factory Honda stuff, Factory Effects, Duncan, and Blinkstar. As with all the others, you can customize the swing arm color here, different handlebars, all the different bumpers like before, different Nerf bars, different exhausts, different A-arms, different suspension, a whole bunch of different tires, the different wheels that you can change colors with, like that. And the chassis, this was actually causing a problem when people were getting the factory chassis. The bike wouldn't show up, so you have to keep it on stock until THQ fixes this. The brakes, of course, and then the number plates. You have the stock white, yellow, red, and blue. In my opinion, the Honda handled the worst off the bat when it was still 0 star. I couldn't keep this thing on the track to save my life. I was all over the place, and I got used to it, but just right out of the gate, if you get this bike, you might struggle with it. Just be ready for that. However, I do think the Honda looks good. I usually judge these bikes just based on their fenders because since I'm not a quad guy, I'm not really sure, but I like the back one. It's not too high, it's not too low, it looks pretty good, and the front one is a little goofy, but I can deal with it. It's nothing terrible, and I just think it's a pretty good looking quad. The next vehicle in this week's downloadable content showcase is the KTM 450 SX ATV. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at all the graphics like always. It's really cool that they have different brands for the ATVs. I mean, it obviously makes sense, but I just think it's really cool that they did that in the game. So you have Walsh right here, One Industries, Lone Star, the normal KTM, Factory Effects, like that with all the black, Duncan, Blinkstar, and that was all of them. Go on over. Can change the swing arm color there. Different handlebars, just like the bikes have. You can change the bumpers, just more customization on the ATV that the bikes don't have. The Nerf bars as well. Different exhausts. Different A-arms. Of course, different suspension as you level your bike up. Have a lot more of a tire selection on the ATVs than the bikes. different wheels, and when you select them, you can actually select different colors with each of them. Then of course just the factory chassis and the factory brakes, and then the stock white number plates, yellow, red, and blue. And if you notice further back, I'm not sure why these are in gray. It's not letting me select them either. I've leveled the bike all the way up, so I'm not sure why this is. For me, it's kind of hard to rate the quads because I don't use them very much, so I didn't feel it was fair for me to give different ratings of each of them. So I just give a little rundown of it. I show you some of it on Devil's Playground here. Just hitting some jumps, doing some tricks, trying to show some different angles. I do like the KTM. It feels like it jumps really far, has a lot of power, jumps further than any of the others from what I could tell. However, with the handling, it is really jittery, and it feels like it likes to slip out. It's not very stable in the corners. And one thing that I think is kind of strange on it is that back fender, like the mud guards or whatever, they don't stick out very far, they don't flare out, they're really tight in. It's kind of cool, but at the same time, I guess to me it's not a stereotypical quad, so it looks a little strange. This week of downloadable content brings you the Yamaha YZF 450 ATV. I'm going to check out the graphics like always on here. Have the factory Yamaha right here, lots of white on it. Walsh, a lot of white again, that's probably going to be a trend here. One Industries, Lone Star, Factory Effects, Duncan, and Blingstar. I'm not really sure, I don't know quads very well, but where the gas tank is, it's really weird that that doesn't change with any of the graphics kits. I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to be. Some of you quad guys can tell me I'm wrong or something, but it's just strange that that doesn't change with it. Again, you can change the swing arm colors, handlebars, all the different bumpers. I'm pretty sure these are all the same on all the quads, so I'm not going to go through them all. All the Nerf bars, exhaust, all the different A-arms, different suspension as you level up, lots of tire selection, wheels, and then the number plates. You have the stock white right there, you have yellow, red, and blue. Not being a quad rider, I like the Yamaha the way it looked the best. With the back fender and everything, I think it just looks the best. It wasn't the fastest, and it wasn't the best handling. I would say it's right about, it's just the average one. Like, it's not too fast and good at handling, it's not too slow and bad at handling, it's just right in the middle. One thing though, those pink accents on it, like above the number plate, I didn't select those. I actually started the free ride and I saw that and I went back into select vehicle because I was like, why the heck is it pink? And I made sure it was all aluminum in the garage, and then when I came out on here it was pink. So I'm not really sure why that is. Just be forewarned, if yours does the same thing, you're not alone. The final vehicle this week is the Suzuki LT 450R ATV. Here we have the Walsh graphics, completely white, Suzuki, One Industries, Lone Star, Factory Effects, Duncan, and Blingstar. See, compared with the Yamaha, I'm really confused that this one has the graphics on the gas tank and the Yamaha doesn't, and that this one is completely white. It looks like the test models. I'm not sure if that just wasn't skinned right or something's wrong with it. But and then also the Suzuki, if you look at the exhaust right there, it's off to the side, and the muffler, or the number plate is off to the side, and the exhaust is actually sticking through it. So that's glitched out. I'm not sure if they'll fix any of that, but we'll see. Different colored swing arms, of course. All the handlebars that you guys have already seen. All the same bumpers. Different Nerf bars. Going back through this, I actually noticed that when you change the brand, the muffler on the bike doesn't change with the brand. It's just the stock muffler. Different A-arms and different suspension as you level up, as well as a wide selection of different tires. The different wheels here, and then just factory and stock chassis. So here we have the stock white number plate, yellow, red, and blue. The Suzuki was my favorite quad in the handling. It kind of felt heavy, but as I've stated before, that's how I like it to handle, where it kind of moves through corners slower, and I don't know, it felt more stable to me personally. and the number plate exhaust thing wasn't a big enough deal to turn me away from it. The fender on this one also looks really strange, like the KTM. The KTM's was too small. The Suzuki's is huge. I feel like this thing has wings and it's about to take off on me or something. I have no idea. And I completely understand that that's how it is in real life, but since I'm not a quad guy, it's a little strange for me. So if you've never rode the quads in alive, I suggest you should look into it, maybe get one of these new quads, and if for no other reason, the 360s on them are hilarious. The last piece of DLC this week is probably the most exciting. 2 new tracks. I'm going to talk about these tracks at the same time because they're used in the same environment. And if you'll notice on this one, it actually cuts between 2 different laps, and I'm just trying to show like the best of each one because I kind of messed one up, so I fill it in with some better footage, so excuse me for that. But the track you're seeing right now is Edge Rock MX. It's set in this kind of quarry forest area, but it's not a quarry like the free ride area. It's a much different quarry, it seems. But it's a lot of fun. You go through some trails in the back where it's almost like not even an actual normal racetrack. You'll see them coming up here soon. Just cut right there, just heads up. But you kind of go into these backwoods areas and it's almost like an enduro or something, but it's a lot of fun. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see the track when you first do it, but you get the track down and it's easy enough to follow along. This track averages a lap time of about 1 minute 45 seconds, at least for me anyway. As you can see, my fast lap during this race is a 1:44. Some people on my friends list are absolutely destroying me and are way faster, but I know there's some people who are also slower. So I'd say a 1:45 is about a pretty average fast lap. And you know, some people I know want longer tracks and stuff, but if you're running like a 2.5 or 3 minute race, that's like the James Stewart compound, the pro loop. If you get that online and it's a 5-lap race, that takes way too long and you just get bored of it. So I think it's nice that at least for now they're keeping the lap times down, and maybe if they get longer lap time races, they'll cut down how many laps you do online. So this was just a quick lap on Edge Rock MX. I'm going to show more footage after the other track, so just stay tuned for that. Second track here is called Quarry Basin. It's a lot more of like a supercross track type track. It's not a supercross, but it just has a more supercross feel, as you'll see in this video. In this lap, I'm actually with Germ17, one of my good friends, and I like to give credit where credit is due, and he helped me with a lot of these fast lines, as you'll see coming up. He showed them to me and helped me learn them and hit them right and stuff, so thank you to him for helping me out. And then we decided to throw this little race together, and it was a really close race, so I want to throw it in. As you can see, I jump over that and land in the whoops. These new tracks, they are really forgiving with the off-track time. Like, you can go off-track and it won't reset you right away. I mean, if you cut a corner, like you cut around one of those blue barrels, it will. But just, you can jump the track kind of like that in some places and it doesn't reset you right away, so it's really nice. Another thing with both tracks, the hay bales and the small tires, like, you know, some of the corners have those big truck tire or tractor tires. Those things will still take you out. Those won't move. But the smaller tires, as well as the hay bales, actually move when you hit them. So that's very much appreciated, that now you can actually ride and not, like, if you bump one of those, it doesn't destroy your entire race. This track, I average about 1 minute and 30 lap time. Some of my friends are running even faster than that, up to like 8 seconds faster than me. But again, I'd say it's a pretty average fast lap, and the same with the other track. It's nice to kind of have a lower lap time, especially for online, so you don't get too sick of the race. I'm really running out of time here, so I'm trying to make this quick. One last thing, the track deteriorates really fast, and it's pretty hard to compensate for. And then the last thing I want to say, every week I preach about how you don't need to get the DLC if you don't want it, you don't need the bike, whatever. The track, that's something I would highly suggest getting, because it's going to give you a whole bunch more gameplay for just $5. And if you don't have it, you're not going to be able to play with your friends who do have it. So for just $5, it's the one DLC that I definitely recommend getting if you're not going to get anything else in the game. Well guys, that wraps it up for today's Wednesday downloadable content showcase presented by vurbmotogamers. Thank you for watching. As always, this has been Return of Dio. Take it easy. If it's easy, take it twice. And I'll see you guys next week.
For daily motocross pro and am coverage, be sure to log on to vurbmoto.com. And if you like us, prove it.